Moti.
Source of influencers.
Like it's also a trend to be vegan now on social media.
Or gluten-free everything, and everyone's it's I feel like it's almost like a bandwagon kind of thing. People are just, I don't know, and I go back and forth, and I get if you're vegan, all the more power to you, that's fine. But I don't think people understand like the diets and stuff, because I mean, you shouldn't be overweight, like there still should be, like, how is that possible? So I feel like everyone wants to be vegan, or everyone wants everything to be gluten-free, but I'm like, if you're not allergic to gluten or have celiac disease, you don't really, there's no issue with gluten. So it's like a lot of stuff like that. I'm just like, okay, so you heard it somewhere, and so now you just think that that's what you need versus, so I think a lot of it just kind of, people are just on social media, and one person posts this or another post, and they just kind of follow along and just go by what they hear. So I've had people say, whey's bad for you. Is it? Really? Why? And then that's it. They're like, well, I don't know. I heard that it was bad for you. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, been working just fine for me. So, but everyone, I feel like just kind of jumps on whatever they hear, and they just kind of go with it. Their friend told them something or whatever. I'm like, does your friend a personal trainer? Does your friend have any idea about fitness whatsoever? Well, no, but, oh, okay. Well, there you go. So stop listening to your fat friend. Come on, so, yeah.
Do you think it's possible to do a competition as a vegan at this level you're competing at?
It's funny, because I was just watching or reading something, and it was and I can't remember his name, so forgive me, but he was a vegan bodybuilder, and he had been competitive for like years. I think it's possible, and there's actually a girl that, she is pro, and she is vegan, and I can't think of her name, it'll come to me after the interview, but she's vegan, and she's an IFBB pro, so I think it's different, and I think it's extremely hard, but if you know your body, again, knowing your body and being able to accurately eat, it's possible. I think it's going to be, it puts you at a disadvantage, but it's a lot harder. But I think
Why
it's possible.
disadvantage?
Well, I mean, if you're not, it's so simple to go and have some chicken and get the protein that you need to get. And it's the same thing when I'm doing a diet for someone that's vegetarian, or they're like, oh, but I'm vegetarian, I'm vegan, but I want to add muscle. And I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out what foods we can give you versus that's not chicken, because you can't eat chicken, but still gives you that same amount of the protein content and getting in foods. Because a lot of times I feel like they'll go, here's an easy way out. You'll just eat a bunch of dairy, you'll eat a bunch of snacks, not necessarily healthy foods, because people just don't know. So I think just getting the diet accurate and still getting in the amount of protein and carbs or whatever, and having that same balance, it just takes a little bit more, it's just a little bit more work. I mean, doable, yes, it just takes more work.
Do you have some tips to keep a strict diet and stay motivated for people?
Just remember why you started. That feeling that you had when you first were like, I want to do this show, or I want to do this. You got to remember that. You just got to remember it. And I remember years ago, I used to, actually right before I turned pro, like that whole season, like leading up to that show, I would watch, like I usually would watch Netflix, but I actually started watching like all these motivational like quotes, or just reading different stuff, like a lot of the Kai Green stuff, or any type of motivational video I would find on YouTube. I would actually watch those during my cardio, and it kind of helped. I mean, you just got to remember why you started. That one feeling you had when you were like, okay, I think I want to do this, and yeah. And there's gonna be plenty of days, and even then, if there's times too, it's like I don't always want to go to the gym, but you just kind of do it. You just do it. Even if you're on autopilot, a lot of times, I've told other competitors, I'm like, just get up and do it. Just do whatever it is that you said you're gonna do. And like I have a note, and I have these notebooks, and I have the notebooks. I have probably about 10 of them now that I still kept from when I first, like from years ago. Just all my training journals. And a lot of times what I do, especially when I'm getting about 4 weeks out of prep, I'll write out my workouts. Like I'll sit down on Sunday night and I'll write out my workouts for like the next 3 or 4 days. And there's times when I'm like, I don't want to do this. And I literally just open up a notebook and I'm like, okay, what's next? Okay, we got leg extensions, 3 sets. We got leg curls, 4 sets. And I literally just go down the line and just do it. It's not always fun at the gym. It's just work. And a lot of times I go in and I'm just going through the motions, but I just get it done. Like you just gotta, a lot of times you have to get on autopilot and just keep doing it. And that was one of my biggest things, just like my biggest hashtag was just keep showing up. Keep showing up and just keep doing it. Just do it. And then there'll be good days and you'll be like, oh yeah, it was a great workout. You will always feel better after you leave. like you'll always feel better versus you just saying, screw it, I'm not gonna go. Because then I feel guilty. So I don't know about anybody else, but I feel guilty if I miss a workout. So like a lot of times, I would say about 75% of prep is autopilot. You just keep doing it. You get up and yes, you eat the same eggs in the morning. Yes, meal 2 is still chicken or whatever. And you have that meal and then you go work out and you repeat. And that's it, that's all. And get sleep, get plenty of sleep. That's huge. The more sleep you get, you need to get enough, make sure you're getting your sleep at night and kind of getting rest.
How much sleep you need, do you think?
I would go about 7 or 8 hours, ideally. I usually try and aim for at least 7. I have a ridiculous schedule. I get up really early in the morning, but I also try to go to bed really early because I notice if I'm only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, then I'm cranky and I'm also having cravings. The cravings hit more so with less sleep, so that kind of stuff too. So really being conscious of that, and especially the closer you get to a show, you want to rest. You give your body a break. I mean, it needs that rest, and it makes a huge difference, I've noticed. So, yeah, and it helps with the cravings too. Just go to bed. Make sure you're getting about at least 7 or 8 hours. If I only get 6, my schedule is such though that I have a break midday, and I take naps. I don't care. I take a nap, hour and a half. It's just midday, somewhere between like 12 and 2. I'll go and I'm like, okay, it's nap time. And like whenever I have, like after I leave the gym, I have my meal and I'll just rest for a little bit at home and then, I'll get up and go do whatever else I have to do. But yeah, it's important.
Arnold Schwarzenegger said people only need 6 hours of sleep. And if they say they need more, they just have to sleep faster.
I need approximately 8 hours of sleep. And I tell all my clients, go to bed. Look, I just go to bed. It's important, but I definitely you need some sleep.
So,
yeah.
So you say Arnold Schwarzenegger is saying some nonsense?
He might be able to get by on 6, but I'd probably challenge him on that though. Like, you sure? I'm no good with 6 hours sleep. No.
All right, thank you for this interview.
Thank you so much.
Follow the Moti on Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat.